Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll look at the economic data, we'll go over some earnings, we'll look at the news, we'll do a market recap, and then we'll take a look at the trading opportunities from today. So starting here on the economic data front, we did have US building permits come in here at 1.43 million with 1.41 million forecasted. We did have US consumer confidence come out at 101.3 with 104 expected, and we also had US new home sales come in at 683,000 with 630,000 forecasted. And turning to the calendar, tomorrow, April 26th, we do have core durable good orders and crude oil inventories. Now, looking at the earnings calendar, some significant earnings here. As you can see, we did have big tech here with Microsoft, Google, Visa, Pepsi, McDonald's, Verizon, Raytheon, General Electric, 3M, Chipotle, General Motors, Biogen, Dow, Halliburton. Let's see what else we got. Invesco. Yeah, just a lot of really big earnings today. As you can see, pretty much just, a lot of green across the board here. So we can take a look at some news. So 3 years ago, the 30-year mortgage rate was 2.97%, and the average new home price in the U.S. was $360,000. Today, the 30-year mortgage rate is 6.39%, and the average new home price is $562,000, which is a result of a $40,000 increase in down payment, assuming 20% down, and a 132% increase in monthly payment from $1,200 to $2,800. And this is the M2 money supply here. As you can see, the M2 money supply has fallen 4% over the last 12 months, which is the largest year-over-year decline on record. And the M2 money supply data does go back to 1959. And we also have Russia launching an international payment system using digital currencies with no restrictions. And this is the U.S. one-year sovereign credit default swaps here. As you can see, just a massive spike in the credit default swipes on our 1 years. And this is the population growth and decline per state, per year by state. And the top gainers, as you can see, we have Florida and South Carolina, and the top losers, New York and Illinois. And we also have Coinbase suing the SEC in order to get them to provide regulatory clarity to the industry. And this is the recession probability model from the New York Fed. As you can see, it's continuing to move up here and is now at its highest levels going back to 1982. And we also have Joe Biden officially confirming he is rerunning for president in 2024. So now we can look at some the market recap here. Starting in the debt market, we have the U.S. 10-year yield getting a big red day to the downside after breaking through that midline yesterday and getting rejected at that midline to start the week here on the weekly chart. Looking at the dollar, we do have a green day here in the dollar after, getting pretty close to bouncing off that lower extreme here. Still just consolidating down here in the lower end of this daily range. Just kind of, starting to look like it's wanting to form a bottoming structure here on the weekly chart. So now we can look at the stock market here. As you can see, big red day here in stocks. It's kind of funny because we just looked at the earnings calendar and all the big companies were, pretty green on earnings. But as you can see, monster red day today here in the stock market, breaking down through that midline. I've been talking about this for a while now, like this 2-hour squeeze that we had in this rising wedge that we've been in for some time, but we can get more into that here. And we can look at the VIX here. As you can see, the VIX finally getting back above that midline, squeezing to the upside here. After being, just down here below it with, pretty slow for the past, almost a month straight of just, pretty slow action here. But it's starting to get a volatility spike here in the stock market. So now we can look at crypto. Bitcoin getting a green day here, just consolidating at the lower end of this daily range, holding the lows from this previous structured support back here. XRP, green day here, and XRP doing the same as Bitcoin, just still consolidating down here at the lower end of this daily range after wicking off that lower extreme here. Holding above these opens and closes here from the end of March. Looking like it's kind of bouncing off of this lower or this midline here on the weekly chart. So now we can look at commodities. Starting here in oil, we do have a red day here in oil, breaking down through these lows that we've been holding for the past couple days here. Looking like it wants to continue its way down to fill this gap here at around this 75, 72 level. Gold, we do have gold here getting back above the midline here. Green Day still consolidating in this squeeze here at the upper end of this daily range. Still waiting on its all-time highs. Silver, we do have a red day here in silver, but getting a pretty nice wick here off that midline. Wicking down right on top of this previous structured resistance here from January. So now we can do a look at our trading opportunities from the day, starting with our volume analysis here on the S&P 500. As you can see, massive vol spike today, getting above that vol average, and just a massive red candle. Ton of selling today, as you can see, breaking down out of this rising wedge that we've been in with this 2-hour squeeze to the downside that we've been talking about. God, it feels like for weeks now. I've been talking about this broadening wedge. We did hold the bottom end of this structure for quite some time, and we finally did get that breakout to the downside here. So we can look at the 5-minute. As you can see on the 5-minute, we opened up here right at yesterday's lows, and as you can see, just selling off the entire day. Big red day today. So we can look at the relativity here. As you can see, the SPY right here and the Qs, just the Qs getting a full sell-off today as well. And if you can look right here, I have the VIX pulled up, the volatility index, as you can see on the VIX breaking out of this range it's been in and getting a nice push here to the upside. As you can see, the VIX breaking above the daily 20 simple moving average, with the S&P 500 breaking down below its 20-day simple moving average. So we can go back to the 5-minute here. So when it comes to the trading today, I did obviously like this for a short. I've been trying to short this market for quite some time. And we didn't really go with this SPY because the SPY was sitting here at its 20-day moving average. And if you remember on the daily chart, the on-balance volume is still positive here. But if you remember the NASDAQ, the Qs have had negative daily on-balance volume here. So we did like the NASDAQ as a short. We can look at the relativity. As you can see, we did like the NASDAQ for a short more than the S&P 500 due to the negative on-balance volume here. So as you can see, we did get our push down through VWAP, through yesterday's lows. We pulled back up into them. The VWAP lined up with yesterday's lows perfectly. We got a squeeze, right? And then we got our trade line come in on the 15-minute, crossing to the downside. So we had resistance at VWAP, we had resistance at yesterday's lows, and we had a trade line VWAP cross to the downside. Really nice setup here for a short to the downside to take advantage of this breakdown here. Go back to the 5-minute here. So this was your entry here on this squeeze when we started getting rejected at the VWAP with a trade line VWAP cross to the downside. And you could have waited even a little longer until it turned red, but we'll say your entry was somewhere in here. And we did have the 313 tomorrow, 313 strike put options, tomorrow's expiration date. So we'll say your entry is, around this 185 level. And as you can see, these just made a monster move here. Throughout the day, these end up going about 100% gain on these put option contracts. But on that first real extension to the upside, you can see here about a 40% gain. So yeah, really nice trade here on the NASDAQ to take advantage of this squeeze to the downside that we have been waiting on for quite some time. As you can see here, this 2-hour squeeze to the downside, breaking down out of this range that we've been in, getting really extended down through that 20-day moving average, flipping fairly bearish here, and making its way down here towards this 50-day moving average. But yeah, that was really the only trade I liked today. There was no small caps, really, because we did have the VIX popping off and everybody was focusing on this. And there wasn't really any other trades at all. I mean, throughout the day, as you can see here, we had Mara at the top. There was a big spike here in the crypto mining companies. As you can see, Mara's crypto mining, Bitcoin mining. As you see, Riot's Bitcoin mining, big spike here. You can see Coinbase, kind of getting a move up here. But besides that, there wasn't really any other trades. Just everybody was focusing on shorting the market today because we were getting that 2-hour squeeze to the downside on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So yeah, really nice move today. Finally getting that breakout we've been looking for. I know I'd been talking about that for quite a while, that broadening wedge with that 2-hour squeeze to the downside. And it did take a while, but, we finally got it today with this vol spike here. Big red volume today. I would look for this maybe to pull down towards this weekly midline here, which you can see lining up with pretty close to this previous high right here. And this daily lower extreme will come up here. So, that could be a potential target, looking for this previous swing high here, lining up with that weekly midline and that lower band creeping up here. So that could be a potential target, but, we'll have to see what happens here. We do have the monthly close coming up fairly soon, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this monthly candle closes. Because if this just really sells off here, this will turn very bearish really quickly. But yeah, only time will tell. We'll see how it goes, and we'll play it by ear. So yeah, that should do it for the video. Really big red day today. Finally getting some action here. We can actually look at the VIX. Oops. There we go. As you can see, the VIX just getting a big spike up here to the upside as well. So, the market should heat up, over the next couple days to end out the week. So, pretty excited for the end of the week here. Finally getting bullish on this VIX, getting a spike here in the volatility in the S&P 500. So hopefully we get some good trades coming up to, finish off the week. But yeah, that'll do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I will talk to y'all later.